Today we're looking at the Nord Stage 4, an incredible instrument. We've nicknamed it Big Red for its San Antonio theme. Stick around.
Hi, this is Ted with Alamo Music Center in downtown San Antonio, Texas.
I'm Patrick Marr. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. Make sure to check out our new website, alamopianogalleries.com. We have 9 different stores around the country. We'd love to see you at one. You can come check out our inventory and talk to some friendly piano-centric people, right?
That's it.
Today we are looking at the Nord Stage 4 Hammer Action 88. So we decided our piano facts should, in fact, be about hammers.
You asked me to bring this hammer, and I hope you have the fact, because all I did was bring the hammer.
I was like, let's get hammered for the video. No.
Let's go in and talk about getting hammered in the video.
So we are talking about the hammer. And so when it comes to a hammer on a piano, how important is...
The felt is pretty important. The felt hammer is really important. You know, the first hammers on piano were actually just some kind of whatever they could find. Some guys used their socks, they used belt material, but they always put a leather strap over it. For the longest time, piano hammers had leather covering.
Okay.
And that kind of gave it a sound that was a little bit different. It sounded a lot like the CP70 or the CP80 Yamaha
Like
electric
clanky,
grand,
like a banjo a little bit.
because those have leather hammers.
Mm-hmm.
And
so what's the idea behind felt striking a string? So that, you know, this isn't a full hammer, but you hit the note, the hammer hits the string vibrates. Talk to me about what can change in a hammer felt over time.
Well, what happens a lot of times is when the hammers, it all depends if there's an underlayer, okay? And most of them do have underfelt.
Yeah.
And that's going to be usually heavier, okay? And by heavier, when they do felt, they're pressed into squares. And however much that whole square weighs is what they call 14 or 28 pound or 22 pound. Generally, the one that's underneath, they put red on it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the underfelt would be red. Sometimes they're blue. Sometimes they're
depending
yellow.
on the manufacturer.
It depends on the manufacturer. And they also usually have a T, either a T staple or a double entry where the felt is not just glued onto here, but it's also stapled.
Okay.
Now, making this hammer they're not done individually, okay? They're done on a long rack, and then they're cut. Each hammer is cut. So you have a long piece of wood that goes down, and so they put the whole piece of felt is bent
Oh, and then
all
they
the way
chop
over,
it afterwards.
and then it's glued in, and then they chop them this way to fit into the actions.
Okay.
So, because if you went out to just copy this, I mean, this is a lot of work to make one. And
Well,
I don't know that you could get it that precise.
And so over time, when a piano's being played, the hammer striking the string, the felt will harden over time.
It'll harden, and it's going to harden in a way, like say you have
On the groove,
the
basically.
choir of strings. So there's going to be 3 lines right where the 3 strings hit right there. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that can get really hard, super hard from compaction and start making the piano sound too bright.
Mm-hmm. One of the tests that you do is you always hold the left pedal, shift it over, and you get the softer felt from the hammer.
So the hammer actually moves a little bit, and then you're hitting like right on the edge and the spaces in between where those indentations are at. So you get a smoother, softer sound as well as not as loud.
And so voicing is sometimes to wrap it all up, but to voice a hammer, sometimes what they'll do is they'll take a needle and they'll press it to soften back the felt up. If it's something where you want a brighter instrument, they actually sometimes juice the hammers, as they say, and they put a chemical on it that hardens the hammer,
Right.
And makes the whole felt a little bit stronger. So that's hammers for you. You know, felt is an important thing, but we are talking about a digital instrument that's replicating a hammer, the Hammer Action 88, which actually is made by Kawai, which is really cool. Nord uses, they outsource their action. They get the responsive hammer action from Kawai. Great feeling instrument, this Nord Stage 4. We've had a lot of people excited. We actually have a technician up in our Kansas City store that wants to buy this one that we're doing the demo on, because he's like, if it's unboxed, hook me up with a good deal. Yeah, and so really a cool instrument. It is like trying to fly the lunar module though. Sometimes when controlling it, you see how many buttons are on it, and that can be an attractive thing to some people, or it can be a deterrent.
It's a great thing because, look, you have on-off like buttons, toggle switches. You've got turn the knob knobs. You've got sliders, and then you have pull down tab like on the organ. And this whole thing is laid out like most other keyboards are.
My
I mean,
1-year-old would love all the different knobs turning.
This is perfect for anyone, especially dealing in the synthesizer section. And so, left to right, you have the pitch control and the vibrato. Then you also have the modulation wheel. And then it starts with the organ section. This is after the main volume. The organ section, you have all the pull-down tabs. This is actually where they're off. So it's like a Hammond.
So you're pulling them towards you.
You pull them towards you.
And a whiter shade of pale is more of the white.
Yeah, no, it's just actually, that's just the name of the song. That have to do with sound. But anyway, back here, you also have the slow and fast and the off for the Leslie.
So there's no menu diving on here. You find the control on the box and you're ready to go.
It's in front of you. Next section over is the piano section. This is where you get to pick like an acoustic and an electric. If you look down here, they have all the different kind of timbres. There's, bright mids, and then you also have all the different kind of instruments to pick from. Electric, there's clavinova, upright piano, organ. You can pick organ, and then it also has like grand and miscellaneous.
What's nice about all these sections, so in the first section you got the organs, and it switches to piano. You can actually toggle on and off each of these modules. So it's basically, it's very modular where it's like, okay, I want the organs or I want to layer the piano, and you can turn both those on. And as we move down further, you have an effects layer module here, and you can do it up to, I think, different onto each layer specific.
You can.
So you can layer down, I just want to add delay onto the piano, and then I want to leave the organ as is and add some drive to the organ. So you can get in and dive into the effects per category, which is
then you also
fun.
have part of the effects are the synth controls with the resonance and some of those filters, the controls that you have. But the thing that's amazing, and I don't know that we have enough time to talk about everything on this keyboard, because the organ you can pick from all the different kinds of organs. There's essentially they put the letter up there. So there's like the Hammond, the Farfisa, the Vox, and then there's the Yamaha. And so all the pop organs from the 60s and 70s are there, as well as all the church and pipe organs. But those aren't ones that you can pick. Then you can pick the type of vibrato that you want on your speaker and the kind of vibrato that the organ's putting out besides the rotating speaker.
Well, and so it's just, so the gentleman who's been purchasing this, he plays a lot live, and I think it's fascinating how in depth you can get just in organs and get the sound exactly that you're looking for.
I told you right up front that this keyboard is way beyond me because I'm not a keyboard player. I'm not a guy that played, I used to, but in a group doing organ parts where you have to turn the thing on and off to get all the voicing and the expression. The same thing with the synth or with any of the other effects where you're changing it on the fly, playing lead. I was never one of those kind of guys. I just kind of stuck with one or two piano type keyboards at a time, or just play a solo. Somebody like these guys that play really active parts and they have the keyboard split into 3 different sounds per song, it's really amazing what they can get out of this instrument, just one guy playing it. And that's what this is for. It's for performance, for expression, and for exploring at the same time. Plus you have all of the layered effects, which you've already talked about. And that right there, to me, all of these things super loaded, because the one thing that is almost impossible to talk about is why everyone that owns one of these don't want anything else. They want a Nord. If someone has a Nord, it's really hard to sell them anything extra,
they want a Nord.
The quality of the sounds that are in this thing have to be the highest quality sounds I think I've ever heard on any digital, certainly a stage type piano.
Well, with that, let's take a listen. We're going to go through some of the presets here. We'll just kind of go through mode-wise and play all the...
That's all I could do was I was so fascinated with some of the solo instruments that come up and then some of the combo patches they have. And they cut me off after a certain amount of time, and I didn't even get to a third of the way. This is one of these keyboards we could probably do a demo, shoot a video on this every month for a year and a half and never repeat it has so much capabilities. I hope we get a good chance to talk about all the
professional connections.
It's just unbelievable.
So this is a fantastic instrument, whether you're on the stage, which is called the Stage 4, or whether it's a studio instrument. This is more than, it's jam-packed full of
We also had
things.
the full package. We have the official Nord stand attached to the Nord keyboard, and then we had the official Nord piano monitor
Yeah, that we were
speakers,
hearing, so-
each plugged in.
So let's take a listen to the samples. We'll come back and talk about a couple more features of the Nord Stage 4.
Well, Patrick, I had a lot of fun, and I know you played on it earlier, but the presets and just turning the knob and going all the way through, I didn't get a chance to finish. I fooled with it a few weeks ago, then we got busy, then we came back to it today, and it's like, I need to spend more time on this thing.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, just the Wurlitzer sound by itself, I was sat on there for a minute, I was like, this sounds incredible, especially with we had the Nord piano monitors, the two left and right monitors. You just...
Really whirly remembrance type, because those speakers are
I know.
kind of right there.
It's very cool. I have a Wurlitzer in my house, and it was reminding me of that. And then the synth section, just going between... I switched off of the samples, and I went to the analog, and I just started messing around with that.
That's a lot of fun.
And you can spend hours there. Like
just analog synth, making noise, not even playing a song, just exploring.
Just turning stuff up and adding effects. And so this is, if you're in the market for this, you probably are well aware of what it does. And you've heard the reputation of Nord before, but yeah, the Stage 4 is
and besides,
fantastic.
Besides the standard, stereo left and right out, there's about 10 different outputs on here.
There's 4 outs just
and then
on audio.
There's like 4. There's a bunch of inputs for pedals to control the organ swell and even some of the other effects. You can run pedals with it, and I imagine you could eventually get that Vangelis type where you had all those pedals for every keyboard.
I know they sell
and they have all that stuff here, but it also has subgrouping outs. It's like a mini mixer within itself. So if you only wanted certain sounds to go to like the monitors or to go to different sections, it's really a fascinating keyboard, only because of the way it plays, the quality of the sounds, but the brains that are in it is just amazing.
So fantastic instrument, Nord Stage 4. We're really excited to have it. Sells for $56.99. Just the reputation precedes it, and people seek out Nord. It's a great, fantastic product. If you guys have owned a Nord before and you're like Ted said, I'm only ever going to get a Nord, we hope the Stage 4 might be one for you. They also have released another one, the Piano 5. And so we'll be taking a look at that as well. But this is really kind of their flagship product, is the stage pianos that they create. When you usually go see a band on a big stage, usually the keyboardist has a Nord product, and it's pretty identifiable by its big red look.
One other thing about big red. One other thing about having this Nord in the store, every single person that come in here that has walked by it has played on it. They had to touch it, look at it, mess with it, get sounds out of it, change the sounds, because everyone has seen Nords on TV. They've seen them on videos. They've seen them in documentaries and specials, and then they get to hear them. But to play one is really kind of a rarity. And so it's nice having it here in the store.
Yes, we've very much enjoyed it. If you've owned them before, please leave comments. Let us know what you think. If you've played the Stage 4, if you've ordered one, I know they've been hard to get your hands on them. Please let us know. Leave comments. We'd love to hear about it. And if you're going to be purchasing one, we'd love for you to let us know what your stories are about it, and how it's checked all the boxes, or how you wish it did one thing differently. But really, it looks pretty complicated, but once you start digging in, it's all very kind of makes sense, and things are in the right place. But the Nord Stage 4, thank you guys for watching. This is Ted Barslew. I'm Patrick Marr, and we'll see you next time.